guys, welcome back to the 52-week organizing challenge, and this week we are going to be focusing on back to school organization. I know that there have been tons of YouTubers discussing this topic, but I really think it's interesting to see how everybody does things a little bit differently. I think there's a lot that can be learned and a lot of inspiration that comes from watching how other people do things. So I am going to share this week how we prepare for back to school season and get organized for this time of year. I am going to break this week's organizing videos up into individual videos. So today will just be an overview of how we get organized for this time of year, and then I will go into more detail on more specific details throughout the week. So this year I have a third grader, which is crazy, and my younger son is going into kindergarten. So we have two kids now who are going to be transitioning back to school, and I feel prepared as far as our organizational systems go and that sort of thing. Mentally, not so much. I don't think I'll ever get used to sending another child off to school. I thought it would be easier with my second. It's not. It's definitely not. So with that being said, I'm trying to really just focus on the organizational aspect so that way I don't get as emotional about sending another child off to school. Julia, my youngest, she will be home with me for another year, and I am going to be doing preschool at home with her. I am not going to include that in this series. I'll do a separate video on our preschool at home curriculum and how I plan for it and all of that, but that won't be included in this series. This series will just be focusing on the kids who are going back to school. So this year is super exciting because not only do we have two kids going to school, we also have a new school being built in our town, which means we are starting school later than we usually do. Usually we're back in school by the end of August. This year we're not going back to school until September. So I've had a little bit more time to think about back to school organization and get prepared for it. So I'm going to just share with you guys a few things that I like to do when it comes to getting organized for back to school. The first thing I like to do is start with a plan. I think that everything runs smoother with a plan, especially when there are kids involved. So I like to plan out what we have to buy and just a list of things that we need to do, and I will leave a link below because I did share how I planned for back to school this year in yesterday's video. So I'll leave that link down below. You can check that out. So the first thing is I like to plan for back to school. I also like to clean the kids' backpacks. Now, this starts right after they're done with school. So the last day of school, when they come home with a million things in their backpacks, and my kids, I mean, it is like crazy how much they come home with on the last day of school. I like to just clean it out right then and there. So I just go through their bag and keep what needs to be kept and toss whatever can be tossed. Now, I don't actually clean out their bags until a few weeks before school starts because their bags are going to be sitting around all summer, and I like to just start the school year with a really nice clean bag. So this year, both kids can reuse their bags from last year. Blake was in preschool last year, so he can reuse that bag, and Dylan can reuse his bag. So I just washed their backpacks and got those all ready. So as I buy supplies, they can go directly into their backpack, and I don't need to worry about washing it afterwards. So cleaning their backpacks is something that I like to do. Sorry, I just took a few notes because I knew that I would just kind of ramble on and get lost. So another thing that I do is purge closets. Back to school time is a great time to purge your kids' closets, get them reorganized for the following seasons, and to just clean them out. So here in New England, our weather changes significantly as the seasons change. So summer is winding down. I know that the kids are all set for warm weather type clothing because we've just had summer. So shorts, short sleeves, all of that sort of thing, they're good. However, fall and winter is the type of clothing that they really need to stock up on. And so this is a great time to stock up their closets on those fall and winter items. I do this for my daughter also. Even though she's not going back to school, I still buy all of her fall and winter clothing at the same time. I just think it's a really good routine to get into. It's a good time to just purge the closets and get them all reorganized for the start of a new season and for a new school year. I also like to set up my organizational systems. So our organizational systems, and this is what I'll go into more depth with on different videos throughout the week, but our organizational systems include paperwork. Huge problem that we've had in the past is paperwork. And last year I set up a few systems that worked out really wonderfully in organizing our paperwork and staying on top of it. So paperwork is a big one. Homework, obviously another big one. System that you really should have a system in place right at the beginning of the school year. And also backpacks. We had, at the beginning of, not last year, but the year before, backpack problems with my older son. We didn't have a designated spot for them, and it just wasn't good. So now we have a system for backpacks as well. So those systems are set in place. They just need to be a little bit more reorganized, cleaned out, and ready for back to school time, because we've used them all year. So this is when I like to just make sure that they are set in place and ready to go for the new school year. Another thing that I like to do before school starts is set goals with my kids. I love hearing what type of goals they want to achieve throughout the year. I think it gets them a little bit excited about the new school year if they have certain goals that they want to achieve. So I love to sit down with them and talk about what they want to get out of this school year. So that way I know what areas they really are excited about and which areas I can really help them reach those goals. So another thing that we like to do before school, last but not least, is get onto a good routine a few weeks before school starts. I think it is so important for us to get back into our school routine before school actually starts, because transitioning into a new school year is a big deal. And if you have to transition into a new schedule on top of that, it can really cause some problems. So summertime, our schedule was definitely way more lax than during the school year. We don't go to bed as early as we normally would. We stay up later. The kids are not getting up as early as they would. So it's just been a little bit lax. So a few weeks before school starts is when it's time to really crack down on that bedtime routine, trying to get them back into a good bedtime routine, getting into bed at a decent time, and then also waking up at a certain time. Prior to this, they were just waking up whenever they wanted to. It could be 8:30, it could be 9, 8 o'clock, 7:30. There wasn't really a ton of consistency. But now that school is approaching and we have to be up at a certain time, I want to get my kids used to getting up at that certain time now. So all of a sudden, it's not like, oh, I have to go to school and now I have to go to bed early and now I have to get up early. It's already sort of a routine by the time school starts. So those are really the areas that I like to focus on when thinking about getting ready for a new school year. I think as long as I have certain things in place as far as planning and getting backpacks ready, getting our systems ready, buying the supplies, buying the clothes that we need, and setting goals and getting back onto routine. If those things are set in place before the school year, the transition is so much easier. So I would love to hear how you guys are getting ready for back to school. I know a lot of you are already back in school. We are still enjoying a few last weeks of summer before school starts, but we're definitely gearing up for the new school year. And this is how we sort of prepare for it. Like I said, definitely stay tuned for some more videos on this topic, some more detailed videos on my systems and how we have things organized. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.